Couldn't be any more excited. Today we've gotten our last box of our new collection of Kirby Allison sovereign grade ties. As many of you know, I've been working on this project for almost 3 years, traveling to London, traveling to Paris in search of the perfect tie. And I'm so excited, I think we finally got there. After 3 years, it was a journey of finding the right maker, the right silks, the right interlining, deciding on our construction methods, and then of course, picking our patterns in the various styles. And here we are, we've got our new Kirby Allison collection of sovereign grade ties, and they couldn't be any better. So we've got an entire collection here, and really not just ties. I mean, we've got our cummerbunds, our new self-tie bow ties, which are gonna be fully back in stock. Right here, we've got some new pocket squares. And then under this, what do we have? My favorite ancient madder ties. As you know, ancient madder is a very old method of dyeing that produces a really special kind of chalky hand to ties. If you don't own some ancient madder, this is actually my single favorite ancient madder colorway and tie. And we're thrilled to have this back in stock. All of our new ties, we have something called a permanent collection. This is our perennial, so they're always going to be in stock on those, which include, some ancient madder, some Macclesfields, some Spitalsfields, grenadines. All these ties are going to be available in 2 different lengths, right? So we're going to have a standard 150 centimeter length, but for our customers and viewers that are taller gentlemen that need a longer tie, we're going to be offering a 160 cm length that's going to be perfect for them. So you're not going to have to worry about your back tie blade being too short. What else do we have here? So these are all of our grenadines. We have some grenadine phenos. This is a dark navy. I mean, again, this is just such a classic tie. Every man needs one of these in their wardrobe. I wear that tie all the time, available in 2 lengths. Some ancient madder scarves, which are so luxurious for the wintertime. So we've got these. We have plenty of time to photograph those. And then some of our other previous shipments, again, these are the Macclesfields, which are the pattern ties. I mean, beautiful colorways. But really what's even more important than the colorway is the fact that these are all made with a beautiful hand. I absolutely love the hand of our new ties, and that really comes down to not just the weight of the silk and how it's dyed, but even more importantly, and probably the most difficult part, is the combination of the interlinings that are used to make that tie. Let's see, we've got some Jacquards here, which is a traditional kind of woven tie. So instead of the pattern or the motif being printed onto the silk, this is actually woven. Gives great visual texture, a beautiful wine. I think I've already used this tie in one of our videos. All of our sovereign grade ties, especially the permanent collections, are meant to be classic ties that never go out of style, that anyone could wear, and that's why we're making them a part of our permanent collection. Another, of course, classic style that should be a part of any permanent collection, and of course is a part of ours, are any small dot ties. We also have some London dots, so if you're someone that likes small dots ties, I mean, again, these are the type of ties that are incredibly easy to wear, that don't take much effort to match, and that you can be certain always look great. Now that we're back in the office, I just wanted to go into a little bit more detail, everything that went into making our Kirby Allison sovereign grade collection of ties. If you're anything like me, 3 years ago, whenever I set out to design our own collection, putting on a tie, I used to think that it was so simple, but actually what I soon discovered is that designing the perfect tie is incredibly complex. In addition to just finding the perfect maker, I had to go to Italy, France, the United Kingdom to finally find someone that could make our ties to my standard. Actually designing the tie and the different elements that go into it was incredibly complex, and I couldn't be more pleased with the results. Now, the most important element of a tie, the judge of all great ties, is how beautiful of a knot does a tie, and so much goes into creating the perfect knot. I mean, so many of us have gone to a store and found a tie that we've fallen in love with, and then taken it home and tried to tie it and just not been able to tie a nice knot. I mean, sometimes trying 5 or 6 times in the morning to get an even even passable knot. It's so frustrating. One of the things I love about our sovereign grade ties is that they have been designed to really tie the perfect knot every time. Even more important is the quality and the balance of the interlining that is used. So not just the quality, is it a felt and linen or 100% felt or 100% linen? What are the weights of those? But how that interlining interacts with the actual silk. So a heavier silk needs a lighter interlining than a lighter silk. These things are so important to creating the balance that create a beautiful and perfect tie knot with an elegant dimple. All of our ties have a great hand, but more importantly produce a beautiful knot with a dimple and a nice rebound. This is because of the quality of the interlining that we use. A good tie should have a good quality hand that feels good, drapes well, and looks beautiful, and we offer that in all of our Kirby Allison sovereign grade ties. Now also, our permanent collection of sovereign grade ties are available in 2 lengths, and a standard 150 centimeter length for someone like me that's 5'10", but also in a 160 centimeter length for gentlemen that are above 6 feet tall. Now you've all seen that tall gentleman who has a tiny knot and the tie blade is like all the way up to the top of his shirt. That's because the tie is too short. And one size doesn't fit all whenever it comes to clothing, and really the same is true whenever it comes to your ties. And for that reason, our sovereign grade collection offers 2 different lengths. The extra length is also important for gentlemen that enjoy tying larger knots like a double Windsor or a more full-bodied tie. You need that extra length to really produce that knot. Now whenever it comes to make, we put even more energy into the cutting and the construction of the ties. First and foremost, one of the most important things of all of our sovereign grade ties is that whenever we hand cut these on the table, that extra care and effort is being made to make sure that the pattern is completely symmetric. We've all seen it where you've got a beautiful tie, but the pattern doesn't align at the tip. It's one of my pet peeves. And so we make sure that all of our ties are really laid out on the table, and extra time and attention is made to making sure that the pattern sits as symmetrically and as evenly across the pattern of the silk as possible. It's all cut by hand, and whenever you turn it over, again, you can see that we're self-tipping all of our ties. So what that means is that the tie facing is used for the backing, which again just helps create a cleaner look. Of course, all of our ties have a hand slip stitch, which is absolutely incredible. So the slip stitch is the backbone of the tie, and it's that element that unites the silk with the interlining, and it's incredibly difficult to do properly and has to be done by hand. What the slip stitch is essentially a single thread that is knotted at the bottom that runs the full length of the tie. Now we've all seen ties get bunched up whenever we tie it, and what the slip stitch allows is for that tie to be pulled back straight. So any quality tie is always going to bunch, but you need to be able to return that tie back to its normal shape. You can also tell a quality slip stitch is whenever you pull the tie that you don't hear any popping, because again, if a slip stitch is done by hand, it's done with the perfect amount of tension to still allow movement within that tie, which allows those elements to float but still remain united together. So other than our grenadine ties, which are made on 100-year-old looms in Lake Como, all of the silks used in our Kirby Allison sovereign grade ties are made in England. And I just love the provenance of having a 100% made in England tie, not just the silks, but also the construction. So in addition to 2 seasonal collections, a fall and a winter collection that we'll be offering that are just for those seasons, one of the things that I've always wanted is a perennial collection or a permanent collections that are trans-seasonal. These are the most classic, kind of quintessentially elegant ties that really never go out of style. And so we have a full collection of those ties here on hangerproject.com, and I've got a small selection of them here that I just wanted to talk to you about. So first and foremost, you've seen this tie. This is our sovereign grade basket weave tie. This is easily probably my favorite tie. It's the easiest to wear. Every single time I wear it, I get tons of compliments. It's a woven jacquard, and this is what you would maybe traditionally call a wedding tie, but it's a formal business tie, and it's beautiful. I wear it on Sundays. I wear it whenever I go to London, and this again is certainly a cornerstone of our permanent collection of ties. Next, we have our collection of Macclesfields and Spitalfields ties. Now, those are generally the same. These were British towns that specialized in tie printing that were traditionally known for their repeating patterns. And so we've got a beautiful example of a Macclesfield here. This is a floral print. And again, this is the type of tie that I love in my collection because you could almost walk into your closet blindfold, pull this tie out, and it's going to match and look perfectly with almost anything that you're putting together. We have another example of a Macclesfield, but this time this is in ancient madder silk. Ancient madder is a very old and traditional form of dyeing silk where the pattern is actually printed on an undyed tide and then the entire dye is dipped into the madder bath. Now the madder bath produces this blue indigo pattern, and so whenever this is originally printed, that would have been left blank, and so you're actually almost printing on a negative because that space is filled in by that blue indigo. Another important element of an ancient madder tie is how those dyes that are printed interact with the madder bath whenever it's dipped, and there's an entire art and science that is a very closely held secret that goes into the way these ties are printed. I love ancient madder. It's a very specialized tie. It's hard to find. You just don't find them in department stores. And I'm very proud to have a large collection of ancient madder ties as a part of our permanent collection here at Kirby Allison. So Robert Keat, who we just had a Shoeshine Sunday episode with, is actually the only guy left that dyes with ancient madder. And so of course we're proud to be getting all of our ancient madder silks from him. Now next, no collection of ties, really no wardrobe is complete without grenadines. And so of course we've got a large collection of grenadines here and a wide array of colors, not just grenadine finos like what you see here, but grenadine grossas, which it has a larger weave that offers even more visual texture. What I love about a grenadine is that it's a solid tie, incredibly easy to wear, but because it's woven, it still offers enough visual texture to make it interesting. So it's not like a satin tie that is really shiny. We have those also as a part of our permanent collection. But again, that woven texture gives visual detail. It brings it down a little bit in terms of formality, yet a grenadine is an incredibly formal tie. This in a really dark midnight navy or a black is something that you could wear to a wedding. And lastly, we have another jacquard. So again, a jacquard is a woven silk. So instead of this pattern or motif being printed onto a piece of silk, this is woven. That offers additional visual detail. And I just love some of the colors that you can get on a jacquard tie because all these threads that are being used to weave the tie are individually dyed so you can get different colors. And this is a perfect example of what I would call a classic jacquard. It's in the burgundy or wine color, very easy to wear. I could be wearing it with this outfit and it would look fantastic. With a nice, tight, small, repeating pattern, which is a hallmark of any classic pattern that I particularly find myself drawn towards. So these are just 5 ties that I pulled to show you, but please visit hangerproject.com where we have our full collection of Kirby Allison sovereign grade ties, all of our perennials, and I promise you'll find something that you're certain to fall in love with. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and share this video. It helps our community grow and these videos receive more views. And of course, please visit hangerproject.com where we have the largest collection of luxury garment care and luxury shoe care accessories in the world, as well as other products for the well-dressed. I'm Kirby Allison.